Are comedians hurting?
Yes, all of them are. And they don't talk about it because we take on everything. We turn our pain into the passion that drives us to go tell jokes. Like, every comedian has done this. We'll cry our way to the set, make people laugh, cheer, and cry our way home. Because we're going through stuff.
Wow.
But we got to put it to the side to go ahead and deal with this gift. And a lot of entertainers do that. But yeah, comedians, man, we go through a lot. We take everybody else, make everybody else laugh. Who gonna make the comedian laugh?
Today, we're talking about the craft of comedy and what it really takes to make people laugh. I'm joined by comedian Carlos Massey, also known as Big Los in his house. Carlos, welcome to Artistry Unplugged. Thank you. Well, we're just going to get right down into it.
Yes.
And we're going to start with your comedy background. Why comedy? And what pulled you into that lane?
Well, growing up, grew up in the church. So I always been a person to have to be in front of people doing you remember the old Easter plays and the Easter speeches?
Do I?
And I always had been just a funny type person growing up. I always had to lean on laughter to get through a lot of stuff. Because I was a chubby kid, as you can see. So I had to kind of lean on laughter stuff to kind of either get somebody off me or get people to kind of laugh to get, away from me being a chubby kid. So I always had to do that. So once I got in church, doing the kind of plays, I could never be serious because I always get up there and make people laugh. So people would laugh, but it would also get me in trouble with my mom.
Oh,
How you can't, this Easter speech is supposed to be serious. So no, it just started from growing up in the church and loving the audience, and I love that feeling. And I didn't know I was trained to be a comedian. So I was one of them kids that loved to laugh. I always cut up in school.
you was a class clown.
Class clown, talk too much, Carlos talked too much in class. I don't care who you around. Just have been that way all my life. So and it just comes natural.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Laughter, they say it helps a lot of things in your life.
It's like medicine for the soul. I didn't know that I was being trained at an early age to help people with it. What used to get me in trouble and what used to get me in fights and a whole lot of whipping.
Did you? You got in fights?
Yeah, because being a chubby kid, a lot of people try to crank jokes.
Yeah.
So I had to learn. I said, okay, I had to master that art. You're going to crack jokes with me because I'd heard every fat joke. But then I had to learn how to come back and, since you on the audience, so you want to talk about me, I'm going to talk about you. So it became that. And so once I got the audience of laughter, a lot of stuff. Well, you can't say, well, you had everybody laughing at me. But now I learned how to stand up for myself, and I started talking about you don't like. So it's just so
and it's kids, that's funny because we used to come up with some.
Man, kids can be cruel.
Man, I'm telling you.
Kids can be cruel, but until, I had to learn how to actually do myself.
So it was a weapon. Yeah. So it was a weapon and laughter and all that and rolling one.
Yeah.
When was the first time you ever stepped on stage? And what happened when you stepped on stage for the first time?
About 25 years ago. I used to do stage plays and theater and acting. Really, is my background. But I always used to, when it comes to a funny role, I always make it good and get a reaction from the crowd. So a friend of mine named Tanya Singh, she said, Carlos, you should try stand up. You have a way with the crowd. You have a way. And I was like, nah, Tanya, because my mind, I'm thinking about all the other comedians I see on TV and stuff like that. She said, Carlos, no, you can do stand up. You don't have to curse to be funny. I was like, what? She said, okay, Dad, open mic some at her church. She said, just come. She said, come and just do 5 minutes. She said, I would love to see, and just think of something you can get her to just talk about. So I went and did like 5 minutes. And the reaction from the crowd, I called the bug that night. And I always thank Latanya to this day for encouraging me to do it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know comedy. Because in my mind, the only comedy I know is like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy,
Absolutely.
cussing and stuff. I was like, and she said, no, Lois, you don't have to curse to be funny. And when she said that, she triggered something in me to really think about that. And once I did that little open mic, that's when I when it got serious about the art of comedy and stand-up.
Yeah. So explain the art of comedy. What do you mean when you say art of comedy?
The art of comedy is, coming with a joke, writing a joke, because there's an open, middle, and end of a joke. You have to think about the material of the joke, how to tell it to an audience, how to stand.
Oh, wow. How to stand too?
Yeah.
What?
You don't want to, like, you on stage, you don't want to, it's a lot of stuff what we say don't come in our mouth. So if I'm on stage and I'm in the back of the stage and I'm kind of like just, hey, y'all, how y'all do? And I'm going to make eye contact, I'm not confident, so they're not going to ride me. But if I'm up there and my shoulders up and my head is up and I'm speaking to everyone, you can hear me, and I'm looking everybody in the eye, there's a difference. They say, okay, he's not afraid of us. So if an audience feel they're afraid of you, they will eat you up. But if they feel like Bernie Mac said, I ain't scared of none of you.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to ride with you. So I had to really learn how to, it's the art of public speaking. That's tied into it. So it's how you posture, how you look. I had to do all that. I always say I went to the College of Comedy once I got serious. So I got to watch people, how they stood, how they came out, how they introduced themselves, how they talked, the different audiences. Just there's a whole lot to it than just getting those.
It sure is.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about the dog and the cat. No, because you have to really connect with them in the audience and learn to make eye contact. Is don't be up there just looking at one spot on the stage like, hey, how is it?
Yeah. So it's mannerism and all that as well, right? So you have to feel the crowd when you come out.
Feel the crowd, listen to the crowd.
Okay.
Know your audience, what kind of audience, if you're a book for an event, if it's for an anniversary, it's for a church event, it's for what's the age gap? If you're there for a 50, 60th birthday party, they was raised in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So material that's gonna get to them. But if you're there for, young people get married, they may be 20, 25, they're not gonna know anything about, color TVs, Walkmans, or even CDs, VCR. So you got to know your material. It's very important to know your material.
Have you ever, in the middle of a routine, changed it?
Yes. You got to be versatile. You got to be versatile.
What would make you do it?
If something happens or catch your attention, ride the wave of the crowd. If something happens to where, and I was taught the way to use what's in the room. If something happens and it takes your attention away or it takes the crowd attention away, don't shy away from it. Use it.
Yeah.
Like if somebody drop a plate or somebody, oh wow,
a phone go off.
Okay, phone go off. Yeah. Is it you? You know what I'm saying? These phones nowadays, you can use these phones nowadays. Just go off with them. I was not turn the ring off, just like a man that he probably not turn it. He got an iPhone. iPhones are wax. Now you got a crowd because half people like iPhones, half people don't.
Yeah, yeah.
He probably got an iPhone. He don't know how to use it.
Yeah. So you can use that as
what he uses.
That's so cool. Yeah.
I have a set in my head, but sometimes you might not get to the whole set. Because your first joke might go longer than anticipated. So you just got to know how to ride it and ride the wave of laughter. I see a lot of new comedians, they cut their laughter out to some. If you got a joke and it hit, keep staying that vein. If you got a joke that you're talking about old school cereal and you started with Frosted Flakes compared to just corn flakes that we used to get back in the day.
Yes.
If that joke hits, keep going down that list. Man, you remember Sugar Smacks? Sugar Smacks too. We just had Smacks. Back in the day, and then, you know what I'm saying? Keep going. If they're riding with you, stay in that lane. Because that might be the joke that hit for people. I've seen a lot of people cut their joke off and go to something else. You ever been in a comedy show where the crowd is laughing and then it's go to another subject and the laughter dies down?
Yeah.
You cut it off.
Oh, is that what that is?
Cut it off to something. You have to ride the laughter and just let it. You gotta know when to start that. Go to something else and just keep it going.
Wow. So you piggybacking?
Piggyback, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Building on whatever they're laughing about. Because And that's the thing. You can talk about anything. Well, like I said, if I said mention iPhone.
Yes.
Yeah, iPhone people crazy. If that starts to if I see the crowd start laughing, yeah, man, I'm telling you, nigga, yeah, man, I tried to date a girl an iPhone one time. She didn't last. I know she was snooping a bit, I'm half of CIA people anyway. Keep it going.
Keep it going.
You know what I'm saying? But if it don't hit, okay, move to the next one.
You got to know how to work that stage, pretty much.
Stage, improv, think on your feet.
Ooh.
You got to learn how to think on your feet. A lot of things with comedy, you can have a set, whatever, but you got to learn how to think on your feet. Wow. You know how to switch your stuff around in your head. Where, okay, I was going to say this last, but I got to say it right here. It's an art.
So you got to be up there. It's thinking and all that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is. That's why when I see people do it, I'm a student of the game, so I love to listen for the joke. Listen to see where he set it up. Listen to see where the punchline is. Listen, if I can see the punchline coming, or if I can't see, I can tell when the comedian gets stuck. I can tell what he was trying to say. Because I have so many comedians.
Yeah.
I can tell, man, he flowed right into that. The transition was great.
So would you say you're studying them or no?
Studying the art.
Yes.
Man, I love good storytelling. They give you a laugh like every 20, 30 seconds.
Yes.
Then they set you up for the big laugh. So that's an art. So you want somebody laughing like every like 20 to 30 seconds. Smaller laugh for the big one.
That is so cool.
So that's
I didn't know all that.
Yeah.
I'm learning something. Y'all getting this? This is so interesting. So what was the worst set you ever had? Do you remember that?
My worst set was probably when I performed. This was in church.
Was it? Why would it be? Oh, Lord. Okay. Embrace yourselves.
Early on in doing clean comedy, or they call it church comedy, I caught the most flack from the church as a whole. That's crazy. Yeah, the hardest crowds early on were my church.
Oh, boy.
I used to perform like the Comedy Zone in Greensboro. I was from different open mic nights around here. Always showed me love. And everybody's like, man, you're good, man. You don't even cuss, man. That's what's up. First set I did, one of the first set I did in the church. One of my wife's cousins booked it. They trying to do something to kind of get the young people. So they have something like an open mic night for young people come and do different things. He had a fight to get you there. They was like, we don't want this. So they finally let me come. They said, we'll let him come, but we're going to host the event. He was like, what? Y'all like 70 and 80. You don't know how to host an event for young people.
70.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm serious. So he said, okay. So they hosted the event. And it was what I say, very dry when they hosted. Have an MC, you have to know how to keep the crowd going, keep right engaged. So this is how they introduce. They said, oh, we got a comedian here today. He's supposed to make us laugh. Let's see if he's gonna be funny.
What? That was a challenge.
Yeah, come on up, comedian Big Loss. Is it Big Loss?
Oh my goodness.
That's exactly how they introduced.
That was horrible.
And all the elders in the church were sitting up there like on the first 3 rows.
How did you feel?
I felt this is why I was made, but this is why I was made for. But the fact that this is how most of our churches do. They get up there and they want growth, but they don't want to relinquish their titles and stuff. And so that particular church, they were trying to grow, but for them people sitting up there, they were like, nah. Now everybody else laughed, but they was like,
they wasn't gonna do it.
They caught themselves.
Did you see that?
Yeah, a lot of them, they wanted to laugh, but the whole structure of it, they said, no. But yeah, that's one of my heart. Whenever I go,
that's a hard crowd.
One of the church crowds tell me, you can make church folks laugh. You can go anywhere because they already prejudge and they already have their own stuff. They listen to make sure, but they'll be some of my most successful crowds. I love going in there and winning the room. Just like the old man, older man. When I went to the event, he came in there prejudging. He was like, we're going to see. He said, man, we needed it. He said, I admit, you really made us laugh for real. Really.
See what happens when you prejudge? I'm just saying.
Yeah. We deal with a lot, especially with the church. Prejudge. Yeah.
Dang, that's rough. That is really rough. Have you ever bombed so bad you thought about quitting?
Yeah. And think about being comedians, they say they never bombed, they're lying. They say, all my sets are good, they're lying. Because sometimes stuff just doesn't hit. It might be the crowd, it might be you. What hit over here might not hit over here. Let me see. I have it was, I went to an event for a church.
A church, okay.
I must have had.
I know.
And you know how, I don't know, it was even my time was off. I had too much on my head, but I just felt like it didn't flow right. And they knew it. So it was like, you know, normally you get laughed at, like,
yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Dang.
So it was like, so it's, you know, it was one of them that's like, and I was just off. And at that time I was going through a lot of stuff and riding back, like, man, I fell off. What is it? But some nights not your night.
Yeah.
But you got to keep going. You got to keep pushing.
It's hard, you think, to get up there when you're going through things.
That's the gift that God gives you. But you got to manage it, and you got to deny what you're dealing with, because you're gifted with somebody else. You're gifted with somebody out in that crowd who's dealing with something. They know they needed it, but their laughs are gonna give them a little more courage to deal with whatever they do.
Yeah.
So I have to go in there and say, give my best. And some nights I go in there like, I get up in my head like, man, I don't want to be here, man. I got stuff going on. Get my check. I can tell my performances, just get my check. And I'm bad on myself, because like that crowd didn't deserve that. Somebody was in there looking for something, and I missed the mark. And sometimes I can't even do that, but I missed the mark. You just don't feel like you hit. Even though you got the check, you shake your hand, you go home, you probably check tastes good. Still, it's like, yeah, I missed the mark.
Did you feel like you deserved a check when that happens?
No.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna tell you this. There are times where I've told people, don't worry about the rest of my money. You keep it.
Really?
Yeah. Because I felt so convicted. And like, I didn't do a good job. In myself, like, I didn't do a good job. So I already know they're saying,
yeah.
I know. So that's how I deal with integrity. I've done it before. And it's a young lady that she still follows to the day. She said, I would never think somebody with your integrity just blew me away. She said, but for you to say, don't do it, just keep it. And that's why I feel it's a gift. Sometimes, whatever you believe, I get that inkling or spirit to be like, you do a good job. Don't take that money. Or in certain situations, like I perform where people, see, we get called to do a lot of different types of things. I performed where this guy was dealing with cancer.
Oh, boy.
And he wanted to do one last event for him, because he knew, you know, and his nieces and daughter reached out to me. They were like, Carlos, he's a funny guy, whatever. And it's like almost like he getting his flowers before.
Yeah.
That one of the hardest sets out of them. He came in, and I'll tell you, he was funny guy. Really, you could tell this dude was a life of the party, and all, but he started, you know, and people kind of like, wow, how are we gonna do this? You know, we did and everything before I left, and I went up to her, I was like, I can't take the rest of the money. She's like, no. I said, no. She said, whatever you said you were gonna start for him, just donate that. Let it be the first seed.
That was awesome.
She broke down. She started crying, and so there are a lot of events like that I performed. Like I just recently performed for a guy who was dealing with cancer as well. His wife was like, he's never had a birthday party, because he's always, like said, giving, always supporting everybody else. She said he's never had a birthday party. He's 50. Now he's dealing with, you know, serious medical condition. Yeah. She said we've had to change this 3 times because what he's going through, he couldn't physically do it. She's like, we said, we're not gonna change it. So she said, we just want to come and have a good time. So when I came and everything, he booked me and everything, pulled up. So I'm looking, I always survey the crowd and everything. So
Yeah.
when they brought him in, it totally messed me up because she texted me on the way and she said, he didn't have a good day today. Keep on. She said, we're going to go forward. They had to help him come in, sit down. And, I could tell he was getting the strength certain times. He'll smile. So when I performed, I could tell he raised up, laughed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So the crowd they was there, but then there was also their hearts was torn.
Right.
So they laugh, but then their hearts are still torn because I'm performing and he's right here beside. So they can see him, then they'll see him. You know what I'm saying? So that messed me up so bad. And so still got to fight through it. So I'm leaving. I do my set and I'm trying to find him. I just text. I said, hey, get ready to leave. I said, don't even worry about paying the rest. She said, no. I said, no. That's what I said tonight. I came in, did my job, to wish y'all the best. And she was like, you don't know how much, you meant, even though you meant a lot to our family.
Wow.
Just to see, and they, of course, I stayed there to hear the family. So with what I do, and we do like to call it ministry.
It is.
It's ministry.
Yeah.
I know certain, super Christians, and that's not ministry. It is because you wanted that ministry laughter.
That's right.
And somebody who actually needs it.
And it's rewarding. It's a lot to it. I was going to ask you, do you ever do shows to where you don't accept? Because I know certain musicians in the church, they always want to get paid. Most of them do.
Yeah.
But I see that you don't. Sometimes you may do.
Yeah. There's certain people who reach out to me and they explain what's going on. They tell me, as long as you're up front with me and tell me what's going on, then I can make a decision. I have certain friends that reach out to me that need me. I never charge them. They're trying to say, no, I'll never charge you. Because there are people who help me start a long time ago and help me supporting this. So there are people who will call me. I would never charge them. I don't care what they do. I said, that's just my gift.
Yes.
Now, there's certain people like saying, you tell me and you explain to me what's going on and say, Carlos, this is all we can do. But we need something.
So we need, yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, cool, listen. There's certain, it's not about the money, it's about me going to share my gift.
That's what I was going to say, because it's something you love to do anyway.
And I know, doing that's helped people that's on the seed. And I know God is going to do, he'll return that. If you're doing something you love, he'll return it a whole lot of different ways. So yeah, there's certain times we try to hustle. Yeah. And I'll be like, this is a Jesus hustle. Like, yeah. This one that, wow. And I know it and I could feel it. I'd be like, nah, maybe next time. That's why I always make sure that I'm in line and listening and listen to a small, still voice. If it says it's a goal, cool. If it's not, nah. There's certain times I've booked gigs and be prepared for the gig. It'd be like, don't do it.
Really?
Yeah. It'd be like, well, something came up. I'm going to send you the deposit back. Like I said, I don't know what's on the other end. It just, something just didn't feel right. And because, like they say, all money ain't good money.
True.
And sometimes when we listen, it'd be like, nah, something came up, I see you in the deposit. So it happens. Yeah.
Wow. Do you do contracts too as well?
You better do a contract. So I learned that from Reverend Clee.
He went to church?
Yeah. I'm a contract. I learned that from one mentor, Reverend Clee, right here in Winston. He tell me, Los, get your contract. Church folk got money. They don't want to give it to you. And I've learned that early on, doing it, because I had just a heart just go out and bless people. Yeah. And I got used a lot. Oh. Come in, then they tell you they're going to pay you something, then they'll come and get you with that. Come let me holler at your speech.
Oh, heck.
Come let me holler
Here
at
we
you,
go.
God. Yeah, it didn't, so we're going to hit you with a plate as a pope. And like I told you, my wife, after so long, she's like, hey, I know God told you to do that, but don't bring no more hope in here. Don't bring no more chicken plates and nothing like that. Duke Power needs some funds. So I had to kind of get serious with the business of comedy. Right,
because it's a business part of it too as well.
It's business. Yeah. It really is a business. But it has been a financial blessing for me all the years I've been doing it. It really has, like I said, helped fill the gap at times. When stuff was tight, stuff like that, you'll get a call. Hey, what you doing this weekend? we got this much. Like, oh, it's a blessing.
So that was right on time.
Right on time. So it is a blessing. It is.
That's good. So it's good to get the money on the flip side.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you enjoy doing, you wouldn't mind getting paid for it also, you know.
That's it. Let's say anytime away from your family and what you're doing is going to be compensated for. And plus, like I said, it's something that really fill the gap. It really has. I tell all my kids, y'all don't know these jokes that help clothe y'all feet.
I know that's right.
Y'all get all these jokes. So my kids have watched me grow up. I say y'all watch me grow up in comedy. Because when I started comedy, my son wasn't born. He's 17 now.
Wow.
My daughter, she was, my youngest daughter, she was just born. So my other two daughters, those are the ones that really saw me grow up in comedy. So they was like, what my dad doing? Then they started seeing me on this TV and stuff like that, this flyer. So it just grew. So I always wanted, and that's my motivation, is my children.
Yeah.
My family. I always want to do something to where if somebody see me, they see me, they don't have to feel like they're bad.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So I always do stuff to make sure. Cause my daughters are somewhere, Dollar General. I don't know if I can say that, but they were at a store where you're, and somebody walked and say, "Hey, y'all are Carlos them daughters." She's like, "How do you know?" Because they've always seen pictures and stuff, so they watched them grow up. Yeah, I used to work with your daddy 10 years ago. You tell them, I said, hey, they were like, Daddy, somebody. I said, you see? I said, that somebody's always white.
You never know.
You never know. She like, we felt weird because we're not. I said, but they know me, so they follow. Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm sure they're so proud of you too.
Well, no. They think I'm not funny.
No, they don't think you're funny.
When I tell you, my family is my hardest critic. My children, they say like, people laugh.
That is hilarious. What?
That's the best joke. They were like, oh, okay. I love them. They were like, because they see me as daddy.
Yeah.
So they really, when I'm at home, I'm quiet. Just sitting around. They don't see. So when they see me on TV or film, they're like, the first time my daughter saw me curse in the movie. I don't curse. Yeah, she was like,
I bet you sounded funny doing it.
Like, oh, Daddy said, man. I said, that's what the script said. So yeah, it's a trick.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that. We're going back to that. Okay. What do people misunderstand about being a comedian?
That we always funny. That we always have jokes. That's I say that's the biggest misconception of us. That we always tell me a joke. I'm not on stage.
Are you serious? You mean to tell me you be walking along and then people like,
most comedians, we're not. It's a switch. We've really quiet, reserved because we're always observing, looking, thinking. So we're not, always, on stage and funny. That's the misconception. Oh man, we're not always joking, because a lot of us and with Steve Harvey said this in one of his things we did it for one of the convention. He said, comedians, man, we see everything.
Wow.
Because God blessed us in something we can see the funny, the good, the bad. And we do. So we soak in a lot of stuff that people don't realize. And like it's a gift, but then it's a heavy weight.
Yeah.
We notice everything, we pick up on everything, stuff we don't want to hear, don't want to see. So a lot of times when we're off stage, we just process. And it everything is a possible joke. I was
gonna say you probably gonna,
everything is a possible joke. Because I can tell you this. I buried my dad a couple of years ago. I would have had to do a eulogy. It was a roasting set. It was a comedy show.
It was?
Comedy show. And when I tell you, people were in there laughing.
Wow, that's different.
Now, some people was uneasy, of course, the super Christian and super religious.
Yeah.
But it was a point to where it was just really that gift came out of me because I was grieving in my own way. And it was fun because the scripture I want to use, the preacher before me used it. The topic I'm going to talk about, the preacher before me talked about it. I was like, what am I going to talk about? He didn't. So when I'm sitting there, like, what am I going to talk about? I had to kind of get up there. I said, well, I was going to say this, but this preacher stole it. I was going to say this. And the crowd, they just I heard the rumble and laughter. I was like, okay, it's this type of, so and then it just, a certain piece came on me. It said, well, okay, let's just go for it. So I talked about my dad in a light kind of way to where everybody remembered him and all the good things, the good stuff. And it just became a comedy show. And I started off with way my dad was dressed in the casket. I was like, my dad he was always a sharp dresser. Always. You never saw him dress bad. I said, my dad's still teaching y'all how to dress today. I said, if you notice, his suit, his robes, everything, even matched the casket that he's in.
Whoa.
A lot of y'all won't miss that. You know what I'm saying? So from that, it just kind of, and everybody after, it was like they was like, man, I've never with your feelings. We laugh. I say, honestly, I know your dad is proud of you. Now, certain people in my family, they was mad at me because they didn't do my dad right. So, and in the laughter, I still spoke about it. Laughter has always been my gift to kind of help me deal with stuff. So and that's what I mean, being a comedian, it helps you see and get through. So when I see comedians deal with serious stuff and they bring a sense of laugh, I love it because we can find a way to deal with a lot of stuff. So that, I always use that example, like, at my dad's funeral, I was telling jokes. Yeah.
Wow, that's different.
Yeah, it was.
That's kind of refreshing, really.
It was, and my mom was saying, like, these chocolates in here, she was like, you have no, she's like, but it helped her because she was like, and then, because the first joke I did, and at that one, after I told him, I said, you know us, I could say black folks, the repast.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay, I got to make this thing, y'all. I don't know how y'all will take it. I said, don't bring no more chicken to my mom. And the crowd went crazy. I said, no more chicken. I said, we got 30 Bojangles boxes. Then nobody bring no sides, so that kind of stuff, it just really.
They do. They be doing that chicken. Yeah.
So the laughter has always been, something to help me get this stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's different. I like that. You're known for clean comedy. Why choose that route?
Well, I think because where I grew up in the church, I still have respect for the church and respect for what it represents. Okay. And so I always have I grew up in a time where kids knew their place, and no matter how old you was, you didn't curse in front of certain people. So I always have remembered that even when I was doing comedy and my first set was in the church. So I kind of created my content for church people, made it laugh without feeling guilty. Okay. So, and that always stuck with me in my first set. I always thought about, and when we did the first open house with the church, I always saw, and I remember seeing like 2 or 3 elderly ladies in the front laughing. And I always said, I picture that as if my grandmother was sitting there watching. What would I want them to say? How do I want them to feel? So that always stuck. Whenever I'm doing comedy, whatever I'm saying, I'm always thinking about that, like how my grandmothers feel if they saw me singing. Now, whatever you do that's on you, I know a bunch of people it's funny. But for me, I just feel that keeping it that way and keeping it clean, and I always felt like starting off, and I just feel like God said, He said, if you keep it away, I bless it. Yeah, and He really has blessed it. Me keeping it that way because I can go anywhere. My set and stuff is fair right. And when I got a call one day to open up for Gladys Knight. Yeah. And the Tanger. Yes. You can tell me that was God. That was never God.
Wow, that's awesome.
Get a call from one of the biggest promoters that do shows and stuff like that. Gerard Goldsmith, he reached out to me. He was like, man, Gladys Knight coming, man. They need a clean comedian. And you the only one I know that don't curse. And they said they don't want no cursing.
Wow.
So I can get anybody in this country to come. He said, man, but they said he was strictly clean comedian that don't curse. He said, you're the only one I know. He said, I know don't curse. He said, I never see your set, but I know you don't curse because you don't curse on your social media. So he said, man, everybody tell me you don't curse. He said, look, man, can you be here next Thursday? Boom, boom, boom. And I'm sitting with my wife like, I'm about to open up for Gladys Knight.
That's cool.
I'm like, so that was one of my I know that's one of my most powerful sets to ever do. I got to meet her. This is my mama named Gladys.
Oh,
So I
okay.
got to meet her. I tell my mom, I said, Mama, open up. She said, I said, Mama, open up Gladys night. And da-da-da. She was like, oh, my, just to hear my mom being proud of me. Like, really? I was like, yeah, I got to meet you last night and da-da-da. You talking about a nervous?
Yeah.
So man, my man was like, hey, man, you need to pray. I said, yeah, let's pray, man. My heart was, he could hear it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to mess up this moment. I don't want to, this opportunity for people to go out and see.
There's a lot of people out there.
This was in the Tanger I led in Greensboro when the first opened. This is right after COVID.
Wow.
So when I say it was like almost 8,000 people.
That's the most people you ever performed in front of? Woo.
That whole audience was full. And it just wasn't full of black people. It was like older. You know, she gonna break out everybody. And I didn't meet people till after the fact. So when you go out on stage, you can't see nobody. Yeah. So he was like, all right, man. So he said, here's the kind of thing. He said, you kind of like the MC, but you're gonna do a set and then you're gonna break. I was like, what? He said, yeah. Just put it all together. I'm like, huh?
Just go with it.
That's why it pays to put your feet prepared.
I see.
So just walk out there. I'm like, huh? He said, yeah, just I'm like, huh? So I played on that. I want to introduce myself. They want to pass. All right, I'm gonna go back here again. Do it again because y'all weren't paying attention. So they kind of got it. So it turned out to be a very good set. It was very good, and in fact, I was so nervous. I didn't tell nobody. Like I was performing. It's like last minute thing. And so a lot of people. So they was like, "Hey man, that's close." So the love I got and the pictures and people was like proud of me. They were just so. They was like, "Man, that was so good to see you up there." It was just a real good moment, and I went on live, and I really couldn't say that, but God, I thank you. And I said that for like 45 minutes. I couldn't say nothing. Wow. And everybody was like, man, don't try to say it. We understand it. It was just one of them moments, man, to where the hard work and putting in with your faith, it really it showed up that night.
So you felt like you made it, kind of.
You know, people think, and that's the misconception too. People start seeing you different stuff like that. People start thinking you got money. Yeah. Some people do. But you know, I have a family to take care of. So whatever I do get, I'm making sure, you know, oh man, you done made it, man. We seen you on TV, man. Oh man, buy me a house. Huh? It's great.
That's silly. Congratulations about that, by the way. Yes, Miss Gladys. Nice. Now, do comedians ever pressure you to be more edgy with your material?
Nah.
No?
The ones I know, they don't.
Okay.
If they come into a show, they know exactly what I do. I look, you know, that a lot of people, and the fact that people respect that it's comedy. It's like people respect this. Boss man, I need you on the show. I know you're gonna be funny, man. Just come and be you. You know, and I don't mind, like, you know, if I go to a show, everybody else can cuss, but I'm not cussing.
But you're not doing it.
But if somebody coming to see me in a different show, I tell them, I say, okay, just let you know, I'm on this show, but this is not my show. So, you know, it might have some other language and stuff. Okay, we're cool, Los. I just know what I do. And a lot of times when I go through those type of shows, people be like, man, you're funny, bro.
Yeah.
You need to cuss. So no, I don't cuss. Come on, man, I never thought of that. You know, because sometimes, and you know, sometimes people that do this in their act or whatever, but when people hear a genuine comedian that doesn't cuss, it throws them off. They're like, so you don't have to cuss it like
Why do they think you gotta curse just to be funny though?
Because they just see people do it.
Yeah.
And you feel, well, I gotta throw a cuss word in. I gotta do this time. You don't, but you choose to. You know? And like I said, we seen people do it to make it popular. But if you notice, only those type of people, they kind of cut themselves off of what they can go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a difference between a true clean comedian and a comedian that can do clean comedy.
In what way?
Because I've seen people that do all kind of comedy, but they'll say, hey, I need somebody. They'll go and do a clean set somewhere and they'll mess up because they'll let something slip out.
Oh.
Don't put that in your set. That's different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a true clean comedian that can do any kind of comedy. And you got people who do any kind of comedy. Oh, I can do a clean set. It's hard for them because it's funny, but then you see them trying not to cuss. because they cuss all the time.
Right, right.
So I always, when I know a bunch of, I always big up true clean comedians that are really doing clean comedy. That's just our genre. I'm not knocking nobody else that does it.
No.
I know comedians that, man, Los, man, that clean comedy, bro. I'm hard to go out to you, bro, because I would have did a set and woo, and it's hard because that's what they do. He's like, man, and everybody I do, people have so much respect for what we do. They just respect it. Man, I tried it, Los, but I slipped up. And I let one come out.
Okay.
But if I never use it, then it would never slip out.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. They're not used to it.
Right.
They probably every day use that.
The type of material
I
do is never, and you'd be surprised people will contact me, well, we don't want this. I said, I don't do that type of stuff. For real, I said, just go check out some of my video. They're like, man, you don't. I said, no. I just really like clean. I like comedy that the whole, this was my tagline back in the day. Clean comedy for the whole family. You can bring a baby and your grandma. And everybody.
That's good.
Yeah. Because I want everybody to laugh.
It's a family.
Everybody.
That's right. That's what you want. You know, is clean comedy actually harder?
For me, it's not. But for other people, it is. For me, it's not, because comedy is comedy. But then you put certain titles on or whatever. But for me, it's not. Because comedy is comedy. But sometimes, like you said, it's a perception of the crowd, because I do mostly like church events, but you'll be surprised what they expect. Because they're prejudging. Yeah. Man, I need you. You ain't cuss? Well, I'm at a church event. Why would you expect me first at a church event? Well, I thought that's all comedians do. No. And now, like a lot of clean comedians are getting shine and getting pub because it's getting out there more. That there are comedians who just do clean sets, but it's still funny. I know some comedians that are killing it. Yeah. Will have you in the flow, and I'll respect it, because it's the art of the joke. Yeah. It's the art of the joke. It's the art of the joke. And then, I didn't know if we were going to talk about this. Sometimes I've had to learn how certain material I had to kind of cut out, because I got some backlash early on. Let's say if it was 20 years, I would have got canceled for a certain joke I used to do. It was clean. It was funny. Wow. But my wife said, Lois, you might want to stop doing it. Because people will come to me and be like, that was funny, but then you don't want to offend. Right. I was like, well, am I offended, or they just being, it was one of my best jokes too. This joke killed wherever I went. But then, with society and being, certain, it was, when one or two people come to you, I had to kind of think about it. So I don't even do it. But it was there's certain people that I go and they know, they say, Lois, you got to tell that joke. They want to hear it, but I don't do it unless somebody really requests me to do it. That's how good it is. But good. Certain people, I had to kind of, I had to stop doing it. It was, but it was funny, and I can tell you the title of it. You will start laughing. It's a joke about Black choir directors in Black churches. Oh boy, that's gonna be good. That's a good one. That's a good one. When I tell you it was good, until, like I said, people come to me, they'd be like, well, and my wife said, well, Lois, I know what you mean, but if it's gonna cause that, you don't want to affect your brain. Just imagine. But she said, I know it's funny. It really is. I said, but if too many people, you don't want to miss it. So I stopped. Yeah. That's deep. Yeah, it's. But yeah. It was crazy. Boy, oh boy. Where do your jokes usually come from? Experience. What I've seen, what I've been through, what I've seen other people go through, or just everyday life. We think about what we go through in everyday life in every aspect of it. I talk about growing up, dealing with parents, old school parents, compared to new generation parents. Everybody deal with parents back in the day that they should tell you something one time. That was it. You didn't talk back, you didn't roll your eyes. So I do a whole set about old school parents and new school parents. Everybody can relate to that. And how we just got away from it. our mamas used to really tell us what to do, and there was repercussions.
Yes.
Because our mom really read the Bible. It says, spare the rod. I add a lot of scripture to it, you know. So just everyday life. I talk about, you know, being older now compared to younger, you know, because when we was 25, we could jump out of bed. Now we just wake up and be like, "Ooh, still here." You
Amen.
know what I'm saying? Now we gotta step out of bed, like put one foot out of bed, make sure, then the other foot, and then rock back and forth because age. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, you know what I'm saying, we're not as young as we used to. We can't eat we can't eat certain stuff. Before 25, I could eat a whole bucket of ice cream.
Yeah.
Now I can eat a spoonful of ice cream. So stuff like that, relationships go good in innocent.
I bet.
Relationship, everybody can relate to everything I say. Good, bad, married, divorced, single, dating the person that's in the church, dating the person that's not in the church, breaking up and still dating the person in the church you broke up with. So that's just a lot of different things.
That's so much. It's good material, boy.
They talk about dating different kind of church folks. You got Baptist, you got Pentecostal, you got Church of God in Christ, you got First Sunday, Second Sunday, you got AME, CME, Catholic. You know what I'm saying? Then don't bring no white Christian girl to black church. You see, so it's so much you can talk about.
Yes.
Because we saved to the white person. We saved to the black person. You know, you bring a black person to it. So it's so much that we can talk and laugh about.
Yeah.
And we don't think we.
It truly is.
Don't get to preacher style. Don't get to the usher mafia. I call it usher mafia. You know, don't get to the different kind of singers.
Yeah.
We got praise team, dance team. We got parking lot ministries. Everything a ministry now. You know, but one thing a mess with, they gonna mess with tithes and offering. You see, so it's so much there's so much material. If you sit down and just sit out and just think about it, you have so much to write about.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
It don't have to be the common stuff. Just like I said, we have so much we can talk about just in general, like the way we cook food.
Yeah.
In our community compared to the way other communities cook food. You can talk about it all day. Funerals, repast. We serve the same food that killed granddaddy at the repast.
Yeah, that's
true. You know we got high blood pressure. You know you die from high blood pressure, hypertension, and stress.
Yeah.
We got ham, fried chicken, pork chop. We got a pig, all that stuff, liquor,
which
everything
I like
at
the
repast.
Yeah. Yep.
See, everything.
Yeah. It's so open, like wide.
And black people send everybody help. I mean, if we think about it, you ain't never heard nobody say, well, I hope we gonna be good where you going. Uncle Ray done shot 12 people. He's selling dope in the communities all his life. We'll see you in heaven, Uncle Ray. I don't think he's going. But I can't say that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's so funny that so I make light of a lot of stuff. So it's just material that you can joke about. Yeah.
Yep. Everyday stuff.
But like I said, the previous joke, that's the only joke I ever had to kind of pull back from. Everything else is open market. People laugh about it, joke about it. But that only joke about choir directors in the black church. Yeah.
Get that. I don't get that.
Yeah.
What's something about the comedy industry people don't see?
The discipline it takes to keep going and to keep coming up with different jokes and different, keep reinventing yourself. That's, you got to keep working at it. It don't come overnight. It's hard work doing this. It's hard work get up on stage because you got to get past your own insecurities to get on stage. That's the biggest thing I struggled with early on in comedy. My own is how I look, how I sound, how I talk, what people gonna perceive me, because my own insecurity growing up is a big factor when I get up there.
Yeah.
So I had to get over that. Cause now, and use it. Okay, I know they're thinking, that's a big dude. I use it. Man ain't got no hair, so I use it. Man ain't talk country. He got a gap in his teeth. He look like TD Jakes. I use it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So now my insecurities became jokes. So I take the power away from you when I say it. The first thing I used to say, I was like, all right, I know. I'm gonna get out of the way. I know I'm not TD Jakes. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I know I'm big. You know what I'm saying? So I came with a joke that kind of say, I know, okay, everybody think I'm big. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm not big. Crowd giggles. Y'all just small. They explode. I said, use that. I said, don't look at me like I'm big. I'm gonna look at you like you too. Look. What if I'm normal and something wrong with you? You see what I'm saying? So I already have deal with the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And people be like, that's a good question. So, you know what I'm saying? So dealing with our own insecurities, get up there on stage and fight through that to present something and hopefully it hits.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing to say because we don't know if the joke's gonna work till it works.
And
a lot of times we'll do a joke that don't work and we say, what? I don't talk about that no more.
That's it.
It's a trial. It's trials to say, and sometimes position of the joke, how we say it. Because we always try and do material in the midst of doing our set. Let me try this will work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the misconception is that, you know, we it's hard work.
Yeah.
And I always tell people to be a comedian is one of the hardest jobs it is because you don't have backup singers, you don't have a track, you don't have music, you don't have, it's just you and a microphone and these jokes. So that's why everything comes into play. Your appearance, how you stand, how you sound, how you look, how you talk, how you interact. Because you have to keep people attention for 30 to 45 minutes. And that
is art. And that takes some.
It takes, you know, like I said, a preacher, you know, I shout out to preachers and motivation stuff like that. But when it comes to a comedian, it's you and a microphone and your jokes. That's all you have is your voice.
Right.
So that's all you have is your voice. So when you go through stuff and like we talked earlier with stuff at the tag, like it's all I got my voice. If I can tell jokes, what do I have? So that's the thing. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
So how do you maneuver when you get ready to do a show and you're going through some things personally? How do you snap out of that and then get on stage and project what you came there to project?
It's a practice. It's a skill that you got to go to. You know, I always pray before I go. I always pray, God so you decrease this gift in me and whatever I'm doing with it. Because they came to laugh. They came to somebody out there that needs this laugh. Somebody. That's right. So I go through the whole process to make sure that I'm not being selfish. Because what I'm dealing with, I've had before. And, well, my dad has.
Yeah. Yeah.
He passed away on Christmas. I did a watch night service on the 31st. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew those people needed. So between Christmas and 31st, I had to get together to come up here and do a show and make people laugh. And I didn't tell the pastor after I was finished. He was like, no, it's the gift.
Are comedians hurting?
Yes. All of them are in some form or fashion. And they don't talk about it because we take on everything. And people think just because we tell jokes that we're always hurt, we just turn our pain. My man Dale said we turn our pain into a joke. We turn our pain into the passion that drives us to go tell jokes. Like every comedian has done this. We'll cry our way to the set, make people laugh, cheer, and cry our way home. Because we're going through stuff.
Wow.
But we got to put it to the side to go ahead and deal with this gift. And a lot of entertainers do that because it's the gift that's given. We have to give this gift away because we're charged with this gift. We can't, there's somebody that needs it. And that's what we have to find ways to deal with our stuff, pain, and how we want to get out therapy or whatever to make sure we're good. Because, if you study comedians and the famous ones that go through stuff, and because they're famous, we see what they deal with and it's put it on Front Street. There are a lot of comedians that we don't know are dealing with the same type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Same type of stuff that if there was a camera around, people like, man, Los, you're borderline depressed. You borderline, you know what I'm saying? You do that kind of, but see, there's certain ways people get it out. People get that stuff out. But yeah, comedians, man, we go through a lot. Just have to deal with it differently. Yeah.
Is it kind of like a stigma? Like people think that comedians don't have these hurts and pains Because you guys supposed to always be upbeat and happy. And
that's just like dealing with, like we talked, dealing with men. Like I said, men, oh man, I'm tough. I've never dealt with anything. And it's just, we've been trained to suck it up. We've been trained for so long to suck it up and not ask for it. We help everybody else. We never train how to help myself. And it don't happen until we laid up in the emergency room. Like, what happened? I don't know. My heart just stopped beating. Because I've been taking care of everybody else. That's what community do. We take care of everybody else, make everybody else laugh. Like, who gonna make it? Like, this is, man, somebody said, I can't really say, who gonna make the community laugh? Who makes the community laugh?
That's a good one.
We make everybody else laugh.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times people never check on the community. You good? You straight? It'll be surprised, man, if you sit down to a comedian and say, man, how you really? It will probably freak you out.
It probably would.
You have to pause and probably until it comes out. Because nobody ever checks on him.
No.
Like, and I always associate it because I'm a man. Nobody ever checks on the man. He's a provider. He's a daddy. He's a protector. He get out there. Nobody say, Daddy, you okay? What you do? Because when it comes to men, I know I'm part of switching, but when it comes to men, we're used to givers. We're givers. So we always pull, we're the daddy, we're the son, we're the brother, we're the cousin, we're the person that everybody call on. But when the men get quiet, who go check some dad?
That's a good one.
Because men don't, when we hurt, we don't speak out. We just get quiet. We just sit there like, and does anybody see me hurting? Does anybody know?
Because you're not going to say you are.
We're not, because we've been taught as little boys. This is crazy. I want you to watch when they're around a little baby, whatever. When a little boy falls, don't pick him up. Don't you cry. Get up.
Oh yeah.
Stop all that crying, boy. Think about it. That's echoed in the man's head all his life. Stop all that crying. Don't you show your emotions. Don't you dare show nobody. So we grow with that for 50 and 60 years.
Yeah.
Don't you show nobody that emotion. So in that it turns on us. So that's the hard part. So that's the thing. Comedy has become my therapy for me. It really has saved my life. It's come therapy because now when I'm doing something, I give them this. They're on the stage.
Release
it.
Yeah.
So it has become a gift for me to let stuff out because normally I would never say anything.
That's right.
I would just sit there. Don't you show nobody emotion. You can sit there and I can stuck my toe. Don't you dare show nobody you hurt. That's because we're tough, we're mad, understanding that if somebody give you a true hug, you'll break down. Because we have to learn how. So that's what has helped me over the last couple of years. We're learning how to release and talk to people. Comedy has helped me and be around a whole great group of friends. We sit around and talk. Talk. No judgment. What you dealing with today, man? I just had a friend of mine, his brother passed. And knew but he said, man, I appreciate this group text. He gave me something to kind of laugh about.
What's the hardest part about being a comedian?
Hardest part about being a comedian is the gift that it never stops. Yes. Even when you don't want to be funny, when you don't feel like being funny, when you don't want to, the gift is always there. It's crazy. It's like man, I don't feel like talking to nobody. Damn. It's the gift that always it pushes you. When you don't feel like it. Because we're human.
Right.
And there's certain times I don't want to do a show. I don't want to be funny. I don't want to, but it's the gift that keeps pushing.
That's good.
It's a heavy weight to it because it's not just going, but it's like you just, for real, and I tell my sister this, Deborah Terry, all the time. I'm like, I done quit so many times.
You quit? Okay. You quit comedy, okay.
I'm like, man, I'm tired of doing it. Somebody call. Oh, okay, I'm back again. She's like, Los, you're human. You gonna do that all the time in your head, like press conference. All right, Carlos Massey, I'm done with it. Somebody call, oh, I'm back. It's just sometimes it gets the weight of it. It's the weight of it. Like, really, because like thinking about going in there to a whole room of people who don't know you. And you're charged with the weight of entertaining them, making them laugh. That's a lot.
That's a lot. I didn't look at it that way.
You know, a musician, just entertainment in general. But when a comedian, you're charged with keeping their attention. Because the normal set between 30, 45 minutes. You're charged with that, to go on and making them laugh without them even knowing you, prejudging you, get through whatever they're dealing with, whatever 50, 60 people, you got to get through 50, 60 different personalities, 50, 60 different scenarios. Whatever they're dealing with, you got to get past all that to really get to them, make them laugh. That's pressure.
That's pressure.
And you sit there, man, I got to prepare myself for this and going again. It's
heavy
time, because like you're sitting there like, man, okay, what am I saying? Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? I don't know. What's going. So that's what's going on in your head. So as soon as you walk up, you think you're already looking at. So that's a whole process to go. Now the other is great because when you do it, it's the leading up to it. You're sitting there, it's like boom, stuff going on. It's like they don't think I'm funny, but
so you be in your head.
Yeah, you do it. It's like I'm dealing with this kind of stuff, and it's still. That's why I always pray, like God, to say to even me, I'm leaning on you. I always say that.
Yeah.
I say, God, this is the gift you give me.
Does that release the pressure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did all this stuff right before I go up. Right when I go up, I say, all right, God, I'm releasing this. It's on you. I'm decreasing because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I got these shows. I will work.
The unknown.
So it's just the fact that you put your works in your faith and be like, all right, God, all right, that's it. That's it. Sometimes, you know, it works. The majority of the time I've been blessed. Sometimes you can, you know, it's a process. It really is heavy. And like I said, and the bigger the check, the bigger the pressure.
Ooh, Lordy.
Because that last night was like, ooh, because he believed so much in me. He's like, man, look, I told him you straight, told him you're going to be good, fine, you open up, man. I told him you're going to do this. Boom. Like, am I? He's like, yeah. So but I'm not changing that. I love the process.
That's good, though. That's really good. What has your journey been like? And the other part is, would you change anything? And are you trying to go somewhere with your art?
My journey, I would change my journey because it grew me up a lot. Coming from theater to stage plays to doing comedy, now doing film. It's really grown me up as far as a husband, a dad. That's why I say I'm gonna change, because it has helped me become more mature as a man.
Yes.
It helped me just really realize the gifts. What God gives people, different gifts. You don't have to be, people think all gifts are not the same. I didn't have to, go everybody else different route. Just realize what I have, it really is a gift from God. And just think this is a way that God can really bless my life and my family with, and learn stuff in the process. Have a passion that you can get paid for. And I just love doing it. To go from, I see some of my first sets to my sets now, and I've grown. I see some of my first plays, some of my first films, and see how much I've grown as an entertainer, as an actor, as a comedian. Even have motivational speaker, learn how to speak better and different stuff. So just seeing the growth for myself, I would change it. And like I said, I really feel that when this really saved my life at the time when it came in, because I was dealing with a lot, to start acting in plays, and it helped me release certain things and learn different stuff and learn different people. So it really did help.
Open doors
So much. It just really just helped me become who I am today.
That's awesome.
As a whole.
Yeah. Do you want to be on a larger platform? Or are you cool where you are right now?
Really, however God want to use me.
Okay.
I'll take big, small, whatever, because even in this, people could say is small, whatever, but the fact that, and we talked about this before, when I came to Winston State in 1993, I knew 3 people. The 2 people came with me, Brian and Frankie. I knew 3 people when I came to Winston. Now, God has opened doors, so many doors for me, to where people know me by name.
Yeah.
Say, man, you know Comedian Big Loss? Yeah. So that's a blessing to where, They say this year, a good name is worth more than all the riches. That's all I can ask for.
There's no frustration anywhere for you?
No frustration. The fact that when people bring my name up, it's spoken well of.
Okay.
I can go on and do a room with 5 people. Somebody call me, do a room with 5,000 people. I'm going to give them the same show.
So, okay.
So as long as I'm still doing it and doing that level where I feel, I welcome whatever comes. Now, yeah, of course, if Denzel called me tomorrow, say, hey,
I know that's right.
I'm go. But if he doesn't, I'm still going to go ahead and get my best.
Yeah.
So I'm actually in the project now. Just, I'm on Tubi, which is great. I'm shooting some stuff now for some people that have some other stuff coming out. So I get excited.
Yeah.
Because somebody really think enough of my skill and my talent to say, hey, we want you to come be in our project. So that's reward.
That make you feel good. You come from here to here and be like, wow, look at this.
From a little chubby kid growing up in Greenville, South Carolina, playing in Artistry in the dirt to this far right here. That's why a lot of people where I come from, and I get it when people say they're proud of me.
Yeah.
You know where I came from. They said, man, we're proud of you. We see you on TV, we see you. That's someone say, hey, that's my cousin, that's my friend, I know him. So that's why what I do is so profound, because I want to let people say when they see me, man, there go Gladys boy. Yeah. That's Gladys boy right there. That's my dad, Slim. That's Slim's son. I want people to be proud to say whatever I'm doing, if it's, whatever. So that's rewarding to me. Now, if big stuff comes, that's great. But if not, I just enjoy
just riding the wave. Yeah.
Just like just like this. This is an honor for me. I'm excited because you took the time to say, I want to talk to you. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm excited for stuff like that, because that just showed that you really would like to sit down and hear me and hear what I got to say.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yes. Yes. Superpower question. If you could give artists one superpower to survive their craft, what would it be?
A superpower. A superpower for artists. Mind reading.
Mind reading.
If I give artists superpower for mind reading, because that will eliminate all the other stuff we got to negotiate, who's real and who's not. I know what's really, because that will save me a lot of problems if I can read the mind of the person who's in across.
Wow.
Because I know exactly if they lie to me, they tell the truth.
Then what you gonna do? No.
if the check don't clear, if it's not gonna clear, if they had good intentions, if they didn't. Because a lot of times with artists, we go on it with a good heart. Yeah. And then a lot of us been burnt by people who have bad intentions. Man, if people really think the bad intentions, it's a lot of people been burnt. Yeah. And a lot of people burnt by the quote unquote church. And so that's why a lot of people are full of our church. Yeah. So that's the whole.
That's why I want to have you back, because there's so much more that I want to conversate with you about. It's because you have so much range, and then it's certain things we didn't touch on, and we just ran out of time, but I definitely want to have you back. Yes. And if someone wants to follow you or look at your work, or what platforms are you on?
I'm on all the platforms. Facebook, Carlos Massey, look me up. Instagram, C Massey. I think it's 92, but it's connected to my Facebook. YouTube, that's connected to my Facebook as well. You can go type in Carlos Massey, comedian Big Low, so whatever, you'll see a whole bunch of videos. Definitely, I tell people to follow me, man. Just follow what's funny. Yes. Things that, I make you think, I'll make you talk, I'll make you laugh, I might make you mad. But it's all good. We don't all have to get along.
That's right. Absolutely.
Because God, we all different and diverse.
Yeah. That's right. Well, thank you so much, Carlos, for coming on for Artistry Unplugged. And I should say Big Lows. Comedy has a way of telling the truth through laughter. Okay. This is Artistry Unplugged. We'll see you next time.